I don't want to say good afternoon. Shall we say afternoon and welcome to Ruggers?
Let's just say afternoon and welcome to Ruggers.
Yeah, COVID is again busy. Yeah. Yeah. Francois, the first thing is the track force is busy moving, and that's our coaches at Schoolboy Rugby. There is several guys that moved within this past month, 2-3 months. Not necessarily a bad thing, with one or two interesting things that we can get from the movement from certain schools to certain schools.
Okay.
I think the major one was Sean Erasmus that returned to Paul Boyson.
Yes, I think Paul Boyson will be happy with that. But as I said before, I think Sean has got his own big shoes to fill. But yes, high expectations I would expect from him going forward. But yes, good luck. That's, yeah. And
treated unfairly at the Lions, personally, my opinion. Yeah. So that's the first one, is Sean Erasmus. The second one, Corne Ace, is at Paul Ruiz. Expected when they advertised the job, because he was at that high performance centre there at Paul Ruiz. So, but according to me, brilliant appointment. I prefer schools appointing directors of rugby, head of rugby, that's actually involved in the school at the rugby and everything. I don't like a guy that comes in and out and just
understands the culture of the school, the structure, etc. So,
all right, so that's the second one. Then we've got Sylvester Boyson that left Drosday RTS.
Yeah, I think that was quite a surprise. Well, not really a surprise.
Not really a surprise, yeah.
But unfortunately, yes, there's some good points and there's not so good points.
Yeah, but that's the dangers, and we must be very careful to put schools in categories. But that's the danger of putting your kid in a school that's not an established rugby school. Because the principal under which Sylvester was appointed died, yeah, and now the vice principal has been appointed, and apparently a lot of the rugby staff, his contracts is not being renewed or cancelled and that kind of stuff. So
it would appear then that the previous support of rugby is now falling away, hence Sylvester's move, which is unfortunate. I think he's been building, I know that Drosday's got some big games lined up for next year against all the most of the top schools.
Yeah, that's where Sylvester worked towards.
Yes.
And now he's left. I know there's quite 2 or 3 high-profile senior coaches that has applied at Drosday, but I also know that there has been boys from the under-16 group that's moved to Pretoria. So yeah, preempting a downfall of the rugby program at Drosday RTS. We certainly do not hope it's going to happen, but we've seen it happen before. And then the big news, we can just mention Sylvester has moved now to Alderaan. Alderaan had the same problem a few years ago. They had hostels and everything for their boys. They were playing in the top leagues in Gauteng, and then suddenly a new, I don't know, it's not a principal, a new
headmaster or
parents committee or what we call it were voted in, and then the hostel was closed. The boys didn't know where to go. So Alderaan was already there. Now Sylvester is back at Alderaan, a new principal appointed after the mishap with their principal and everything. Let's hope. I mean, Sylvester will make a success given the opportunity. Let's just hope he'll get the opportunity there.
Yeah, so it's good news for Alderaan.
Yeah. Then Lofi Elof has now been 2 years, a year and a half at Kiro Durbanville. Kiro Durbanville moving into their new multi-million, almost said dollar, but I think it's a multi-million dollar new campus there. I hear 1 or 2 interesting stories of boys moving there. Kiro Durbanville was involved 2 years ago with overage players and contracts being offered to players and everything. I'm sure with Lofi there, we'll get a lot more excitement, a better coach team, and more people moving to Kiro Durbanville.
Yeah, and another school starting to make its mark.
Yeah, and you mustn't throw away the Kiro group, because I know Kiro Nelspruit was one of the reasons that Nelspruit actually was or accepted demotion from the Versekerbeker Cup competition, one league down.
Losing players to the other school.
Yeah. The big news this week was Peter Ingledow appointed at DHS.
Yes. He from Paul Boyson, by the way.
Yeah, so, he left Paul Boyson. His contract was not renewed. He didn't want to renew it. That we will never know. But in any case, so Peter Ingledow was appointed at
DHS.
Durban High School, for the people that doesn't know. Interesting, the previous coach for Durban High School was Scott Matthew.
Yeah.
Scott Matthew replaced Peter Ingledow at Griquas.
Interesting, yeah.
And Scott has now gone to America. Everybody expected, there was a lot of rumors that Peter would follow Scott to America, but brilliant news for DHS.
Yeah, definitely.
I don't think it's Peter is going to work his backside off, and I'm sure he's not scared of work and everything, but it'll be interesting to see what he will bring to DHS.
Yeah, shake up the Durban schools, rugby schools down there.
Yeah, and we spoke about it the other day. Glenwood is your Afrikaans school of Durban. DHS is your black school of Durban, and Westville is your English school of Durban. So it will be interesting to see what, if there is a change with Peter moving to DHS. Then at Oosmoed, now Oosmoed is one of the better schools in the Moed of Pretoria. Now the Moed of Pretoria, for those that don't know, is the middle income area of Pretoria. Hard people, hard-working people, physical people, and everything.
And fanatic about their rugby.
Yeah, and you will see a lot of buses from Affies, Pretoria Boys Eye, Menlo Park, Waterkloof. Elderine used to have buses running there and everything.
Picking up the kids in the morning.
Yeah, from the Moed. So they appointed Christian Gous. Now Christian is an old grey boy.
Okay. Yeah.
And he made it clear that he wants, although Oosmoed is acknowledged as one of the powerhouses of the Moed, he wants to prevent the kids going to, he called it the richer schools. Maybe it's true, maybe it's just schools more interested in developing the talent at this stage. Yeah. So, yeah, we'll have to see what Christian gets right with Oosmoed. But if he can get right what he plans, Oosmoed will be a powerhouse in South African rugby.
To be reckoned with.
Within the next 5 years. Yeah. If he can keep the talent there.
And I just want to come in there on the side now. Next year's rugby program, I'm seeing a bit of changes from the traditional rugby programs we see every year, specifically with regards to Pretoria. Because of COVID, we are seeing bigger schools that generally don't play one another, and we can say it now, I suppose. Affies and Menlo and Garsfontein actually going to be playing each other next year. So what I'm trying to say is that the door is open for Oosmoed to enter that fray. Once established and once going.
Yeah, so definitely, because the cost of travelling is becoming so much that even the top schools are shying away from travelling down to Cape Town, or Cape Town coming up to Pretoria.
Plus the complications with COVID now, having to travel with school kids, and yeah, so very exciting times.
Yeah, let's hold thumbs for Christian.
Yeah,
I think we need a proper rugby school in the Moed.
Yes.
There's always been a school for 2 or 3 years on the back of parents that was willing to work hard, and then it went down. And then very interesting, the Rustenburg High School has now also started to rebuild a rugby program there. In the middle of last year, Gert Lindekie, that was at Middelburg HTS, whose rugby program also completely collapsed after a new body corporate, or what you want to call that.
Parent governing body.
Yeah, parent governing body came into power. They used COVID as an excuse to stop Middelburg HTS rugby program.
Yeah, which left a lot of boys in the lurch. Yeah.
Yeah, last year we worked quite hard moving people, and the kids moved to Stellenberg, they moved to Office, they moved to Monash, they moved to Garsfontein. Everybody looking for a new home because they were dependent on the bursaries. So Gert Lindekie was appointed head of rugby, and now one of his allies, Brandon Coetzee, apparently has also moved from Middelburg HTS to Rustenburg.
Oh.
So it'll be quite interesting, and once again I don't wish it on Rustenburg to collapse with a rugby program, because Rustenburg is normally the feeder school for Monash. Hans Coetzee was he was at a certain stage told, if I ever see your face in Rustenburg again, we will shoot you. Because he came to Rustenburg and
poached.
Rustenburg, Oulaar, all those major primary schools. If you get a primary school event and those schools are there, they normally wash the floor with the other schools.
Yeah.
So that'll be also quite a development to watch, how Rustenburg is going to approach this, with all the guys now from Middelburg HTS going to Rustenburg. Yeah, I don't think, is there anything I skipped here?
Grey PE for Robbie Kempson, but that's...
Yeah, Grey PE,
that was a while ago already.
That'll be quite interesting, because I think Robbie is more TV personality and a brilliant coach.
Definitely.
Established coach and everything. We'll just have to see how much intensity he puts on bringing Grey PE back to the standards where they were.
Yeah, no. Because, yeah, when it comes to head of rugby or director of rugby, whichever you want to call it, it's not a person that can stand alone and do the job. It needs the backing of the headmaster of the school, the head of the school, plus the parent governing body, because let's be honest, there's money involved here, and it costs a lot of money to establish a good rugby program, and it takes time.
Yeah.
So, you know, the fact that we see these moves, don't expect miracles next year. It's going to take 2 to 3 years for these teams to be built up and established, structures to be put in place. You know, because that head of rugby would most likely want to make his appointments and establish his way of developing and you know, the rugby at that specific school, his vision. Yeah. So.
And the last news, it's confirmed and everything. Reino van der Merwe at Office has gone bonkers. He has shifted most of the coaches.
The total reshuffle. Yeah.
Total reshuffle. And we can confirm the new head coach at Office is a new person, appointed from within Office.
Yes.
But we will give Reino the opportunity to announce it himself.
Yes. Yeah. And he's an old Offie as well.
Yeah, he's an old Offie as well, and everything. Yeah, so we're quite excited. We always said new blood, and at Office we believe what was wrong with Office the past 5 years was the tradition, and the Offie guts was missing. And if the new coach can just bring that back to Office, they will be a team to be reckoned with next year.
Yeah, I think we attended a function yesterday afternoon where most of the coaches were present, and there's some good spirit amongst them. They're all excited about the year coming in, including us. Yeah, so, and I think everybody just wants to have a proper rugby year next year for Schoolboy Rugby.
Yeah, so like Francois said, next year we will again be able to crown the top rugby school in Pretoria.
Yeah,
because everybody is playing everybody, I think. Yeah,
mostly. Yeah.
So yeah, let's hope for that. And as I don't think, yeah, maybe we'll see some 1 or 2 more exciting changes. But I think the most exciting is the new coach of Office. Is Shawnee Erasmus at Paul Boys High, Peter Ingledow at DHS, because we must admit that Durban, the whole Natal's rugby has gone for a dip the past few years, not able to compete anymore against the top schools. That's a very dangerous
thing to say.
And then we'll have to watch in Pretoria the influence that Elderain and Oosmoed will have on the guys from the Moed moving to your top schools. That'll be also quite interesting.
Oh, look, at the end of the day, you know, I'm always for the underdog, and that the boys must play and they must enjoy themselves. So, yeah.
Yeah. So that's it for 2021. We all hope and pray that we'll have a full year of rugby next year for the schoolboys. Well, I can't ask, I know there's a lot of people with religious and other reasons why they won't get
vaccinated.
I almost said intoxicated. I'm intoxicated. Vaccinated, but in order for us to return to normality, this is what the government will use to get everybody vaccinated. I'm vaccinated already.
I'm vaccinated, yeah.
So this is what's going to be expected from you. Let's work together. Let's get our kids vaccinated. Let's get vaccinated and let's return to a full
rugby year
for 2022. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Enjoy.
Cheers.